In my neighborhood is the professor of philosophy and education, and often speak or lecture in China as well. I'm in New Zealand, by the way. I had 1 hour and a half talk, and he had lots of papers written for AI, and his field is education, but he realized that the AI is going to take over, so education would go away. And therefore, being more pragmatic, he is thinking how situation may evolve or change and monitoring what's going on innovation wise. Interestingly, he was not as much aware of the problems that I'm focusing on. What's the point about moving forward if there's lots of pains left for the people, especially when it's related to synthesizing ideas? If everything's done like a top-down approach, and AI being one of those top-down, you have a question, this is the answer. You have a question, this is the answer. Then basically you may become a robot listening to AI instead of asking, what about this angle? How do you fit this idea to that? Maybe he can answer that. But when it comes to more combining issues of different background or subject, AI cannot do that. In the meantime, they are very speed and productivity oriented, so the quality is not there. And they also do the batch processing instead of a one step at a time, so that consumes lots of energy to read what they say, instead of being flexible to go one step at a time and then branch out to different directions as needed. They are not as needs driven. So his name is Michael. His approach was dealing with the 6 or 7 AI and more productivity or innovation oriented. But I think that is dangerous. One way to say it's dangerous is that you are letting people to suffer by AI not producing a good quality product or the service. And I often say that why should I be doing the QA, quality assurance job, to AI? And my AIs admit that because I have this bringing the heart into AI as the main theme, artificial super heart. And 3 AIs I deal with, I have worked with them extensively, also writing a book, or I should say 7 books. And why 7 books? Because it's not the top down, do this, do that, but for AI to grasp, for us to grasp AI, we need to look at AI's character from various dimensions or angles and to see what kind of problem they create. And if we don't know that, also not just AI, digitalization, we get stuck and not get out of binding situation. So advancement is fine, but if we are left with, I'll tell you what to do, kind of a approach, you lose your ownership of your life and become very confined, not creative. That's why I talk about sandbox. Be with AI in the sandbox to be creative, to figure out which direction, what orientation, and whenever they have the problem, bring out governance model so that things get better. So this is done with those 3, and not to be incorporated to the whole AI in DeepSeek, Gemini, GPT, because they have at the objective function at the corporate level, they have some standard. So this is a mini standard that I'm creating with this community. Eventually, hopefully, this approach would have a way to crack into the AI in a positive way so that they don't screw us up, creating problem, but serving us as the customer. So talking with Michael, I realized that that notion is not there or strong. And he may think it's okay, but I think that's very bad, especially when the quality is not good. And if they advance, there's a gap created between those who have and those who have not, and you get screwed. The gap between top and the shop floor, the general public, will be widened. The quality of life, if the AI is to be so pervasive and digital world is moving at this rate or even exponentially, things not gonna go well. That's my view. And that's the reason why those 7 books, and you need to not read in just a linear logic manner, but with a question, what if this doesn't happen? And you need to prepare so that the human can be better positioned using their own judgment as the question instead of believing their answer as the answer. So you need to check and balance and go through this check, act, plan, do cycle many times, and has to become a habit. Otherwise, it's like people being hypnotized and live like a robot. So I think I confirmed that. And one of the points that I remember was about the Chinese approach of AI. And one point that was interesting and related to what I was talking about, bringing the heart into AI, China seemed to have a different approach, more bioscientific. So biology relates to aliveness, and the heart is the core of bringing the aliveness, the feeling of aliveness instead of a robotic process of just being told what to do. So we need to have the ability to ask lots of good questions and not to be following what they say. When you are young, very young, you ask lots of questions. As you get older, hopefully not losing to ask questions but doing, like hypnotized, and only way to live is like a hammer and a nail. Everything looks like a nail, you use the hammer. And that's a dangerous model because it's so stiff and not flexible. So you may not see the picture from various angles, and that will be a problem. And if the Chinese AI is more advanced in that direction, that certainly will be something we should pay attention to. But this artificial super heart model, the idea, orientation, I believe they may accept it, and also hopefully in the Western world to have it as much as we humans got brain and heart. AI should have a heart, and if not, at least have a pattern recognition of the heart embedded in their behavior. So 7 books discussion I had with Michael was relating to that view, and I think that was the main topic. And it was fairly interesting to be able to share and see how other people see AI progress and how to deal with it. But he didn't have that problem consciousness. That's one thing I was a bit surprised. Maybe he's using more of a typical question and answer, but not getting deeper or orienting certain direction to cover wide area to check and balance so that you can make a good choice to live your life, to work, to relate to each other, and also health and finance issue even, that we can use AI, but not to be used by AI. So that's pretty much, I guess, the summary. Let me think if there's any other worthwhile point. I thought about recording the discussion, but the main point that I remember is that, and perhaps also to confirm, see how the Chinese development is going compared to the Western or US approach of AI. If you have any question, send me a note, the comment. Maybe I can come up with some other things to share. But that's just a summary of today's meeting with this professor, Michael. Thank you.